Alrighty, so to find the dew point, all you have to do is know two different things, the wet bulb and the dry bulb. So I'm going to give you two different variables here. So for instance, the dry bulb we're going to say is going to be 14 degrees Celsius. And a wet bulb is going to be 12 degrees Celsius. Right, the first step is you locate the air temperature, or what is also known as the dry bulb, which is over here in the upper left-hand corner. You then take your left pointer finger and drop down until you get to that temperature. In this instance, the temperature is going to be 14. Next, you're going to subtract the dry bulb and the wet bulb, and in this instance we end up with 2 degrees Celsius. So if you look up here at the top of the chart, you're going to see that says difference between the dry bulb and wet bulb. What you do then is put your right pointer finger on the difference, which was 2, and you go down, and then you're going to go over. I left some space so you can see the number, and you're going to end up with the dew point. In this instance, the dew point is going to be 11 degrees Celsius. So similar to the dew point, the relative humidity, you use the same method. There's still going to be a dry bulb, there's still going to be a wet bulb. So let's use the same dry bulb of 14 degrees Celsius, and let's use the same wet bulb of 12 degrees Celsius. So like you did last time, you're going to subtract. So this becomes 2 degrees Celsius. So now we have the difference. Then you're going to go to the dry bulb. Once again, it's in the upper left-hand corner. Then you go down to the variable that we have, which is 14 degrees. Then you're going to go to the difference, which once again is at the top here. You're going to go to the difference of 2, which we found. You're going to go down, and you're going to go over, and where they intersect is going to ultimately be 79%. If you notice, the unit is different because relative humidity is a measure in percentage. To clarify, the measure of percentage actually is the amount of moisture there is in the air versus how much the air can hold. So if it is 79%, it means that the air is 79% full of water vapor. One of the ways to work backwards that the Regents could ask you is they could ask for the difference, and it's not too difficult if you know where you're looking. So for instance, we're going to use the relative humidity chart here, and I'm going to give you a dry bulb of 18 degrees Celsius. So 18 degrees Celsius. And then of that, I'm going to say there's a percentage of 72% relative humidity. So in this instance, if I want to find the difference, all I have to do is go to 18 degrees Celsius, go over to the percentage of 72, then go straight up. And you'll notice the difference is 3 degrees Celsius. Now what that tells me ultimately is that's the difference. So if I want to know what the wet bulb ultimately was to begin with, all I have to do is take my dry bulb, which is 18 degrees Celsius, and subtract it from the difference I found. And you'll end up to be 15. The wet bulb temperature will always be lower than the dry bulb, or the same. It can never be higher because remember, as the sink psychrometer goes around, it's causing the water to evaporate off of the sock.